Hi guys, welcome back. In this video, I want to get into how to feel your wish fulfilled and how to get into an end state, which is pretty much the same thing. Your end state is your desired outcome and living from that within, because when we're living from that, we're in it and we're not looking at it outside ourselves, okay? So, living from the end state and the wish fulfilled are pretty much the same thing, just different terms that Neville used. So, I want to focus on easy examples to get you into your wish fulfilled, your end state, and making it clear that once you get there and you solidify, even if you fall out of your state, you already know how to get into it. So I feel like once you know how to get into an end state and shift into a different identity, it becomes much more clear on the full spectrum. And so once you feel your wish fulfilled inside yourself and you start to understand what an end state is, the stronger your faith in your ability to imagine, feel from, live from, etc., the more focused you can be on that, which is what's going to bring it into your awareness in your 3D. Because remember, whatever we focus our attention on, our consciousness on, is what we're going to get more of in our reality. So you want to be really aware of your inner conversations, watching the logical mind when it comes in with the 3D, time, lack, anything like that. And you want to stay fully focused and devoted to your inner state, okay? A state is just an identity or a place inside ourselves that already has the desire that we just need to step into and stay there in order to see our manifestation come into reality. So, for example, if you are working on wealth or success, or even just simply having a successful mindset or an abundant mindset, health, anything along those lines, you want to start to talk to yourself and say things such as, what would it feel like if I was the most successful version of myself? How would I feel about myself? Okay? How would the wealthy version of me behave? How would the wealthy version of me feel? How would the wealthy version of me act and show up on a day-to-day basis? Okay? And we're not talking about in the 3D right now. We're talking about how would you feel inside? How would you show up in your feeling state? Like in a good mood, happy, excited, feeling confident and good. How would the version of you who's healthy and abundant and who loves their life, who's grateful, how would that version of you show up? Okay? You probably wouldn't be being lazy, not doing anything. You'd be in a mindset of, oh, I want to take care of my body, I want to eat good, and you'd start to think and feel in all these different ways. Okay? There is a process to this. It does take some inner reflection and work, but once you find that feeling state and you close the curtain to the 3D for a little bit while you're working on this, whether you do it while you're going to bed, throughout the day. I mean, I really like to saturate myself into something when I'm doing it because I like to see results. So for me, I like to do visualizations at night. I like to do inner conversations. I like to do affirmations. I compile everything. I sometimes write things down, but I'm more of a visual person. So it all depends on what works best for you. But I want you to start asking yourself these questions, okay? How would I feel if I had this amount of money in the bank? How would I feel if my business was so successful? And you want to bask and marinate in this for a little bit, okay? It's something that you want to like let your whole body feel, because feeling is the secret. And as soon as you catch the feeling of how you would feel, then that's what starts to shift and make the outer reality reflect that back. We're not manifesting from the 3D, we're manifesting from a feeling state. Everything is from a feeling within. And once you realize that and you know the process, it's going to be much easier to start manifesting whatever it is that you desire to have come into your reality. So you want to be aware of what you want to have as a desire. You want to be getting into a feeling state. You want to be asking questions that'll help you understand and guide you to a feeling state. And you want to make that feeling inside yourself stronger, so it becomes your dominant assumption. And then as time goes on, and it could be quick, you might feel the feeling and stay there, and then things start shifting. Or you might have to work on it if you have old limiting beliefs and you have to deal with the fear, the lack, the doubt, the old story. And when that happens, that's revision, or being aware that you are not your past, you are not your circumstances, we are not our 3D reality. That's not who we are. We are just experiencing our old assumptions. Sometimes relationships come into our lives to help trigger and bring awareness to these old beliefs and assumptions. So even if you are going through maybe a heartache or financial struggles in this very moment, it's only to show you that there's still an old limiting belief within you that needs to come up and be looked at and healed and dealt with, and getting out of that state into a new one. Because inside ourselves, we are all prosperity, we are all abundant, we are all love, whole, complete. We don't need the 3D to make us feel love. We have love inside of us, okay? We are an unlimited being. We don't need the 3D to make us feel abundant. Abundance is inside of us. Money is just a thing. It's a piece of paper that the federal government prints, and we use it for, things that we need on this planet. But we're looking for the feeling of how we would feel if we had an abundance of money. How would you feel? What would you do? And start to let the visuals come into your imagination, start to let the feelings come up, and start to really develop those feelings. Same thing if you're working on manifesting a specific person or a relationship. How would you feel if you were so loved and adored and cherished, and your existence was like someone's biggest gift here, and you were so appreciated and honored and loved? How would you feel? How would that make you feel? How would you feel if you were someone's whole world? How would you feel if, your husband told you every day that he can't live without you, that he's obsessed with you, okay? And then same thing if you're doing it for a woman or a wife or whatever. Really start to explore these kinds of questions and how would I feel, and get into the feeling of having it now, okay? We're living from the wish fulfilled. We're not looking at it. It's not outside ourselves, it's inside. The state of being is inside. It's an identity that's inside that you just have to shift into. Anyway, I hope this video helps and you can learn more about feelings.